Welcome, my amazing viewers. Thank you so much for joining me on my program once again. I appreciate you wherever you are connecting from. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please kindly subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell so that you'll be notified each time I upload a video. You will be among the first to receive it. Thank you so much and remain blessed.
Thank you so much for staying with us. My guest is right here with me. Sheikh Made is a businessman and a civil rights activist. Thank you.
Who are the stakeholders in the security architecture? The state government, the citizens, the federal government. If there is a total failure of security, the first thing you look at is what are the budgetary provisions in terms of security and how are they being spent. When you hear trillions of naira spent, billions of naira budgeted for security, yet every day it is a harvest of death. Every day it is maiming, killing, kidnapping and arson. It means either this money is being outrightly stolen, or is being misapplied, or is being misused, or both. By who? By those who are presiding over that fund. Between 1999 to date, if they tell you the trillions of naira said to have been spent on security, it is enough to make everybody in Nigeria a multimillionaire. Yet no security. Look at every state government budget. The amount of money budgeted for administration in the governor's office, in addition to the security of what he controls, put together are more than the entire budget of 10 ministries, agencies and departments. Which means something somewhere is fundamentally wrong. Number two, the federal government. They control the entire security personnel. The security personnel are at the mercy of the federal government. What is the federal government doing about security? It appears that either those who are responsible for securing lives and properties, either they don't understand their constitutional mandate, or they do, but they have no capacity, or they have but they don't have the courage, or they have the courage but they are sleeping over everything. The citizens also, security is a collective responsibility. How much role have you as a citizen played in ensuring that you contribute to your own quota? You participate and you partake in ensuring that you make available necessary information enough to help security agencies to perform their duties, because these people who are holding us at particular place, the criminals, they live with us. They are our children, our parents, our brothers, our neighbors. We know them, they know us, they are living within us. We see the way they live, yet because of the way and manner we benefit from their own crime, from the proceeds, we rather shield them. Until and unless we are willing to do it correctly, for that long we are going to be having sleepless nights. But let me say that
what's the correct way, do you think? You mentioned is a multi-stakeholder, three-pronged approach to security. Right. The citizen, the state government, the federal government.
Okay. Now the way out is, for example, in Zamfara State, in Benue, in Katsina, who have openly cried out for citizens to go and buy guns. Is that the only option you have? For instance, recently in Zamfara State government, billions of naira were spent on purchase of automobiles. For whom? For traditional rulers. Is that the priority that you have at this material time when people are under siege? You are using money to buy automobiles for traditional rulers, automobiles that they cannot even drive. Will dare anybody in Zamfara State from the traditional institution to drive those cars?
You mean the limousines?
The limousines, they should drive them if they have the courage and the gas and the audacity. They should drive them on the highway. These automobiles are not, you can't drive them in the entire Zamfara, Sokoto, Kebbi axis. Therefore, that's a wasted expenditure. Should that be the priority of state government, where there are no drugs in the hospitals, no good roads, unemployment, no scholarship? You dedicate that money, billions as it is, for the purchase of automobiles. If governors have been injecting money into employment generating investments, into real security protection, into education, into health, you will minimize all these apprehensions, all these crimes. But when you find like a governor going to borrow money to build an underpass, an overpass bridge, when in the entire state, over 40% of its local governments have been taken over by bandits, this governor is borrowing money to go and build an underpass and overpass. That doesn't sound as if there is a complete disconnect between the governors and the people that are presiding over.
So prioritization is security.
If you look at the budget, except for some few states in the north, if you look at their budgetary provisions, their line items, they are laughable. They are insulting. It tells you that either they don't know governance or they are taking governance and people they are governing over for granted. Number two, citizens must devise a way and means of cooperating among themselves, of community work, of community cohesion, of community contribution. You don't leave everything of security to government. There must be a community participation, community appreciation, and community injection of their views, their own ideas, their capacities, even their own resources. And of course, the federal government must wake up. In a society where virtually now, everywhere in this country, there is the presence of the military, the army, the police, the navy, everywhere, as if we are all under siege. Is that desirable? It is not. There is a need for the federal government to go back on the drawing
of assembly for their own action, where we expect two-thirds of them to pass. The first reaction of the state assembly through their conference of speakers of the houses of assembly is that the National Assembly should go back and consider the issue of state police, because the input the assemblies made before the commencement of voting was that state police should become an agenda to be voted for. National Assembly didn't deem it fit to be brought in as a provision to be voted for, and the assemblies are insisting you must include state police, vote on it for us to even consider the other amendments you have proposed.
You will never hear about it again because the National Assembly are complicit in this failure of security. If you see the way and manner, and I hope they are hearing me, the Senate Committee on Security, House Committee on Security, go and ask head of security agencies. They will tell you the deeper story. They will tell you the sad story. The National Assembly don't want hands off from managing security funds, because by the time you do state police, most of the funds would have been taken away to the states. And the National Assembly, who are presiding over this security votes, security money, free as it is, money that is not being audited, would not want that chunk of money.
Not audited as should.
Not audited as it should. They would want to let go that chunk of money that they have been feasting on from eternity.
So it's time to make a U-turn and introduce state police, and you expect the National Assembly to work on it as we speak?
Mr. Bechi, the condition is just simple. You people who are going to vote should negotiate. Tell your representative, our first agenda is state police. Give us in writing that if you go to the Senate or House of Representatives, your first motion will be that of state police. If you are not going to do that, we are not going to vote for you. They should extract a memorandum of understanding, a memorandum of commitment from every aspiring, especially members of the National Assembly. If we don't negotiate and they go there without our inputs, they will continue business as usual.
Perhaps we should also push these questions to the presidential candidates. What's their stand on the issue of state police? What are their plans for security?
I hope the media will do that, because I could see many media houses evading and avoiding and being afraid of calling over these presidential candidates to ask them certain questions. Rather, some of them are busy concealing them, protecting them, make it impossible for even somebody to comment about them. I hope and I pray that the media will wake up, especially the big media players, the big players in the media industry. I'm looking forward to a day when you will call a presidential candidate right on this table. Ask him, Mr. A, you want to preside over Nigeria as a president. Tell us about your genealogy. Tell us where you come from. Because the moment you join politics is you have brought your secret file to the public. Scrutinize me. We want to know who is your mother, who is your father, who are your parents. parents? Who are your relations? Which school did you attend to? Who are your classmates? Who was your headmaster? Who was your principal? Which university you go to? Bring us.
What are your antecedents?
We need to know. But when you begin to continue concealing people, protecting them, because there are questions about them that these questions cannot be answered by them and cannot be answered genuinely by anybody, you are not helping the situation, you are not helping the society, you are not even helping the media practice for that matter.
Okay, we hope that perhaps when the time for campaign starts officially, sometime in September, the media should be aware of this. I know the Nigerian media will not shake this responsibility. So. But let's get your reaction to the primaries that threw up these candidates. There were reports of money between one another. An issue of direct primaries, the National Assembly again. Some say shooting himself on his foot by forgetting to remove clauses that excluded statutory delegates from being part of the voting delegate.
That is called nemesis. Nemesis caught up with them. Now they are lamenting. Now they are regretting. Now they are saying, had we known, we would have acted differently, but it is too little, too late. If you look at the way and the manner and the processes and the procedures of the primary elections, of especially the two major political parties, APC and PDP, it is sending a message that we are yet to be there. We are yet to understand democracy. We are yet to give democracy its rightful place in the Committee of Nations. We have already deliberately and cautiously monetized our own democracy. That also has to do with the level of poverty in the country. It has to do with the level of unemployment in the country. It has to do with the level of low voter education in the country. It has to do with so many other factors surrounding democracy. Our democracy is in trouble. If you want to know how the quantum of trouble we are facing, listen to the following explanation. Number one, if you go to a pot, and you look inside, and a soup has been prepared, you will find so many variables that make up that soup. Similarly, in democracy, there are those factors, those components, those segments, those variables that make up democracy. Let us analyze both of them. Number one, the entire democracy is about power. And it's acquired.
State power.
The moment you see in the process of acquiring power, money plays an epicentral role. The moment you see that everybody is up for the grab, the moment you see that people are being induced, are being cajoled, are being blackmailed, are being maimed, killed or incapacitated, or in the process of acquiring power, that is when democracy is in danger. Number two, the moment in democracy you find authority. After getting power, you get authority. The moment you see authority not being used to the maximum benefit of the citizenry, the moment you see authority being abused by those in authority, the moment you see authority being used as an instrument to assault, to insult, to steal, and to loot, that is when democracy is in danger. Legitimacy. Democracy is about legitimacy. The moment you see legitimacy being misused, being misapplied, being personalized, that is when democracy is in danger.
And when the power, like you said, is used for the benefit of the people, the authorities use the power in their position to the benefit of the people, you get legitimacy.
That's right.
And the reverse is the case, it becomes otherwise.
Now, most importantly, democracy is about knowing when to let go. Leaders who are responsible always know when to let go. The moment the ovation is over, you are supposed to set aside, allow people to come in. But Nigerian version of democracy is that of you sit tight. People are being killed by the day, by the week, by the month, every year through. Nobody cares. Governors are lamenting, they are crying.
Or perhaps not caring.
They're not even caring. They don't even care.
They do.
If you look at them, most of them don't care. Look, when you see a governor saying that go and buy guns, he is telling you that I have failed. In a normal society, he should resign. In a normal society, from the day a governor says go and buy guns and protect yourself, from that day the president should declare state of emergency, invite the military there, take over the state.
I made reference to the Second Amendment in the US.
That's right.
So even in almighty US, citizens still buy guns.
No, that is a different society. It's a different democracy. We copied American democracy, wholesale and retail, but we are virtually copying nothing. We are doing nothing. We are only doing about 10% of the total copy that we copied from American democracy. What we are saying is that there is a provision for creation of declaring state of emergency. It is high time and ripe enough, now not tomorrow, for the president to look at those states that have become ungovernable, that have been taken over by bandits, to declare state of emergency right now, today, not tomorrow. Deployment
will change?
over there.
What will change?
It will change.
What will change?
It will change. A lot of things will change. The speed at which money is being spent in the name of security and the total failure that follows up is enough to tell you that that governor has failed.
Because if you declare state of emergency, you're empowering the governor because you're suspending the state assembly and you're transferring his powers to the National Assembly in Abuja, and perhaps the governor will not have a state assembly members breathing down his neck.
National Assembly are not going to preside over the state. They will need the security apparatus, and there will be a deployment, huge deployment. When you declare state of emergency, there is going to be a huge deployment of armed personnel to take over.
Have you not seen this huge deployment already?
Where is it?
There are new bases we see in Zamfara, multiple military operations on
Go and ask those who are operating on ground, their experiences. Ask them about their allowances. Ask them about their own arms. Ask them about their own welfare. And the story...
It calls to question.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go on a break. When we come back, more issues to consider. Please do. Well, my guest is Madi Shehu. He's the Chief Executive Officer of Dialogue Group, a business concern, and of course, he is a civil rights activist. Thank you so much for staying with us. Our problem is not just that of politics or security. We have state more security. We'll come back to politics, but let's take a look at the economy. From our indicators, not quite something to be pleasant of. GDP growing, but look at other indices, very indeed alarming. Poverty, rising, unemployment on the rise, on the increase about 25%. And someone will say, how do you expect a stable society when unemployment is high and poverty also high? How do we navigate out of this quagmire?
Well, you see, if you look at the Nigerian economy, especially those who are managing the economy, if you look at the policies guiding the Nigerian management of the Nigerian economy, you get confused. In the morning, if it is yellow, in the afternoon, it is maroon, in the evening, it is dark blue, in the night, like a rainbow, multiple colors, complete confusion in the economy. Today you intervene in multiple exchange rate. Tomorrow you borrow money from the CBN to pay salary. Day after tomorrow you make all sort of intervention. If you look at the June 2022 report of the CBN, of the World Bank, it said there is a complete confusion in the way and the manner Nigerian economy is being managed. I don't even need the Central Bank or the World Bank to tell me this. All is not well. The indices of inflation are very, very clear. We go to the market, you go to the market, I go to the market, everybody goes to the market. We've seen the geometrical increase in prices. It's an indication that all is not well. Those with income, I'm not talking about those with rights, those with income, the income amounts to virtually nothing.
Fixed income.
There are parameters on ground, empirical, that you don't even need to be an economist to understand that our economy is in shambles. Our economy is in shameful position. Those who are not in the Nigerian economy, either they're incompetent, they are insensitive, they are confused, or they are selfish, or they are both. in a country where 80% of the people are living below poverty line. Below poverty line. In the midst of more enough.
Maybe over 50%?
Yes, more than 80% are living below poverty line.
The figures will have just above 50%.
They are more than that. They are more than that. In a society where trillions are being spent, you don't see the trillions. Trillions are being said to be injected, you don't see them. In a society where within 8 years, 11 trillion naira was said to have been spent on power, there is no power. Road networks have already virtually collapsed all over the country.
You talked about borrowing to pay salary.
Yes.
The acting accountant general of the federation made that allusion that we are borrowing, and it's perhaps it's an open secret.
It's
we have
secret.
for years been borrowing to pay salary.
That's right.
Where would it drive this nation?
See, what I can't even understand is if you look at the amount of money being generated by Nigerian Port Authority, by Nigerian Customs, by so many other revenue earning agencies, the legitimate question to ask is, where is this money going to? You use over 70% of the revenue to service what? To service loans. It's scandalous.
Even the Senate President some time ago was bemoaning the fact that lots of these revenue generating agencies don't remit as much as they should.
He should keep quiet. He is there to preside over sanity. He is there to preside over laws.
Are you not harsh on him?
I'm not being harsh on him. He should stop.
He's a stakeholder,
excuse me,
and he has the responsibility.
I'm also a stakeholder.
Yeah, but your words appear to be too harsh.
If you say that revenue agencies are not remitting the money,
who has the mandate and the responsibility to discharge?
Where is the Public Accounts Committee of the Senate? What job are they doing? Where is the oversight function that they claim they have been doing? They should bring these people to book. You will see that the Auditor General last year says MDAs are able to account for 378 billion naira. That is the Auditor General's report.
And the National Assembly published this report.
And what
they have done their bit. Now, what happens to those reports? Where are the anti-corruption agencies not acting on those reports?
If there is this allegation, the Auditor General's report is taken to the Senate, the National Assembly. They look at the report, study it, make a recommendation, and forward it to the security agencies. They have not done that.
I think they did.
I'm not sure.
The Matu Rogide-led committee has done a lot of hearing on this, and maybe we have to
we should beam our satellite on the security agencies. But what I'm saying is that the National Assembly should please stop complaining about airing agencies. These agencies are directly under their own supervision. They appropriate money to them. They are given the sole power to preside over them.
Discontinue appropriation.
They discontinue until if you are going to account for what you have been given previously. But when billions of naira, trillions are being spent over their heads and they are fully about to complain.
Let me get your comments on subsidy. As old as Nigeria, some will say. For decades, as old as many Nigerians, not Nigeria. Many people were born decades ago and they started hearing of subsidy. Today we are hearing of subsidy. And the president has said subsidy remains because so many other countries are also subsidizing petroleum products.
Who are you subsidizing? If you are subsidizing farmers by making fertilizer available and insecticides, the fertilizer is beyond the reach of the farmer now. He goes to the open market to buy it scandalously over 1,000 times the normal price that government is claiming about. The chemicals and insecticides are not even there. Whom are you subsidizing? You are subsidizing a small clique, a cartel, a cabal that has been sucking us high, empty and dry to the total exclusion of majority citizens. You don't see subsidy anywhere. They said they are selling petroleum at how much? Go to every filling station now. You will never buy petroleum or any other product associated with it at the official price. It is being sold at black market. Education is not being subsidized. Health is not being subsidized. If you are sick today in Nigeria, you are on your own. Nobody is subsidizing you. If your child is going to school, nobody is subsidizing you. why are they subsidizing, said to be subsidizing petrol? Because that is the lucrative job of the cream of the society, which they have been inheriting from grandfather to father to children to grandchildren and to other people around them. I don't see subsidy. Try how much you can. Let's have you on subsidy for 1 billion years. I will remain dumb. I will remain blind. I will remain unconvinced and insensitive that subsidy is anywhere, is not anywhere. I don't believe in it.
The president didn't believe in it when he was outside government.
Now he knows better. Now he knows better.
So it suggests something deep down.
Yeah.
Beyond what we know and we see from outside.
When he denied subsidy and disclaimed there was no subsidy, he asked the same question. What are you subsidizing? Who is subsidizing who? But now that he's on that hot seat, I am sure he understands
perhaps if you are privileged to sit there, you also understand.
I may act differently.
How?
I may act differently.
In what way?
I will act differently. I will be more courageous. I will develop extra guts, extra audacity, extra courage to ensure that I face them head on. But the moment you begin
to face subsidy out completely?
It is possible. It only takes an extra courage and audacity. And of course, the moment you begin to protect other set of people for that time, you cannot be able to withdraw subsidy. There are stakeholders who have been deeply rooted, second the Nigerian economy, and they are all over the corridors of power, within the power corridor, outside the power corridor, within the proximity of the power corridor. They are there. They are money bags. They play a lot of role in ensuring that Mr. A and Mr. B and Mr. C emerges as a candidate across, top to bottom. Because money speaks in Nigerian brand of politics. Money is epicentral. Money is more important than anything. That is their day. Their day comes in when you require money to fund politics. That is why you can't.
What have examined the security situation, the economic situation, and to an extent the political situation. It tells you the responsibility before the new set of leaders after 2023 election will be enormous. Many Nigerians will say we really need the best to take up this responsibility.
Well, we are looking for a leader, and may God help us to have him in 2023. A leader that is mentally alert, because there is a relationship between mental instability with performance anywhere, any day, at a household, local, state, federal levels. We are looking for a leader who will be courageous enough to submit to psychiatric evaluation, because sometimes you begin to wonder some of these behaviors. You think as if this person is psychiatric. Somebody is stealing 200 billion, 300 billion. He must be examined for psychiatric evaluation. We are looking for a leader who will submit to psychiatric evaluation, and whose certificate from the psychiatrist will tell you that he suffers from no neurosis, no psychosis, no elemental madness. We want the report to say that he is fully stable, oriented to time, people, and places.
But the laws did not make that condition.
No. If an unhealthy person is looking for a public office, it is a responsibility of the people around him and himself to submit to medical examination. We are looking for a leader who is not only mentally stable, but his health is ascertained. We don't want a leader who cannot walk from here to 30, 40 meters without standing. We want a leader who will go through full medical examination.
Is that why one of the aspirants in APC ran around the stadium?
Yeah,
why declaring?
Yeah, what we are saying is
prove his fitness.
Yeah, well, to do that, we want him to go through ECG, EEG, full medical examination, exercise ECG, city ECG, to ensure that there is no likelihood of him being collapsing at any moment.
Remember that it's not a job for manual labor.
It is a job for a person who is physically and mentally healthy and alert. I don't want to believe that. At one time you work like a laborer, at another time like a lawyer, at another time like a politician, at another time like somebody who is being chased, and you must run with your full force.
And perhaps, if I may add, most of the time act like a statesman.
That's right. We're also looking for a leader who has been injured in the past, who received so many multiple emotional lacerations and was able to get them healed by himself, that particular person who knows how painful it is to inflict an injury, emotional and psychological for that matter, on the entire citizenry. We are looking for a leader who has the focus, who can tell us actually who he is. A leader who can say, these are my educational qualifications. I attended a primary school in so-so state. This is the name of my headmaster. He has classmates. Let him mention whether dead or alive.
I remember the name of my headmaster.
I remember mine. Let him tell us the name of the headmaster and the at least 5, 6, 7 people of his classmates who are dead or even those who are alive. We want to know his secondary school, where he went to, who were his classmates in secondary school. We don't want somebody with multiple personality who goes to answer different names in different locations. We want somebody who is not dropping names. We want somebody who is not having personality disorder or multiple personality disorder. We want somebody who is honest to himself, sincere, and who can travel every part of the world without thinking that something somewhere will come up. We want a leader who will subject himself to examination of his organs, especially the kidneys, because they are clearly.
Are you not going too far?
I'm not going too far. It's very important. We need a mental physician,
a 40-year-old that does not have health challenge.
It doesn't matter, but he has not come forward looking for this job. Those who come forward looking for this job should be people whose kidneys will not fail us. We've seen the danger of kidney failures in leaders in the past. We don't want a repeat episode of that. We want somebody who will not miscurate in public. Somebody who will be having frequent miscurating in public.
Okay.
Somebody who will be graduating.
You have captured it as you deem fit, as you perceive it, because I have said our laws are clear in what is required and other. But let me further take you up on issue of when that leader emerges. Another problem will be dealing. I mentioned statesman for a reason. At this point in time, many are of the view that we need a statesman, someone who will heal the nation, someone who will repair the cracks that I've seen very wide and obvious in walls of our unity, that will reduce mutual suspicions. Some will say even mutual hatred at some point.
That is the reason why. That is the more reason why. That is the
new Nigeria.
That is the more reason why you should look at this aspirants. The answer is very clear. Only one person fits in there. He is the only person who will hit the ground working now because he has been there. We are not looking for somebody who will use Nigeria as a guinea pig. When you preside over a state government, it doesn't give you that exposure to preside over Nigeria. We want somebody who was there in the corridors of power, who knew the intricacies, who knows the arithmetic, the geometry, the everything of power. Who knows the bleeding?
Thank you so much for joining me on my program.
Who knows how to heal wounds? Because he has been injured severally and he was able to heal his own wounds. Anybody capable of healing his personal wounds has more likelihood of healing a large societal wounds inflicted on us oftentimes deliberately. We are looking for somebody who understands that the world stage has changed. We are looking for a leader who will think globally and bring his experience locally to act. And who will think locally and act globally. Who appreciate that there are local events that if he allowed to go beyond proportion will have a global effect. And there are events that are happening in the world that have local effects. He must be able to understand all this interplays, all these intricacies, and unhealthy candidate will not be able to do that. And a healthy president will not be able to do that. Among the candidates, we have the healthiest, the most exposed, the most experienced, which I hope Nigerians will think wisely, act wisely, behave wisely when it comes to exercising their own responsibility as voters.
Their franchise is down to their personal beliefs and whatever. As we get set to leave, there's a new crave among young persons to get registered. Persons who now appear not to be so much interested in our electoral governance and democratic process, but have suddenly shown interest. What does that bring? What value will it bring into our electoral process?
I wish they are going. Their aspiration is independent and genuine. But the danger I have seen is that clerics and clergies are inciting the youth.
Is it inciting or encouraging?
No. At one, if you hear the languages, there are inciting languages, there are encouraging languages, there are cajoling languages, and there
maybe a thin line between all of them.
The thin line between all of them. They are telling the youth, go and vote for a particular purpose, go and register for a particular purpose. I thought they will allow the youth to formulate issues on their own. Issues that are affecting them now will affect them tomorrow, or will affect them day after tomorrow.
Up to 18 adult age, that's why they are being registered to vote, enough to discern for themselves.
Beyond being 18, do you possess, even at the age of 18, remember you are 18, I remember my 18, is 18 a guaranteed year of ability to think wisely, act wisely, behave
full
wisely?
adulthood.
Full adulthood.
But at least the Constitution says at least you can vote, even though you may not be voted for till you get to 25.
Well, I hope their votes will count, and I hope they are going to vote wisely when it comes to the time of voting. But I fear that the way and the speed and the manner people are being incited along ethnic and religious line is not helping Nigeria, is endangering democracy, is endangering the entire election process.
Let's look at a Nigeria after 2023, post-election Nigeria. What do you say?
I am not a fatalist. I am not also a pessimist. I'm not also
an optimist.
I'm also not a doomsdayer. But I have my fears.
So that makes you an optimist.
An optimist per se, not by excellence. My fear is that I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket. I want to remain on the fence. I want to remain on a position where if I am failed, the pain will not be too much to send me into my grave earlier than I am aspiring to survive. That is what I think of Nigeria post-election. We are hoping and praying, and we will continue to pray. You know, the biblical Saint Augustine, throughout his life, throughout his ministry, whether at home, presiding over mass, or presiding over marriage ceremony, or presiding over everything, he prays only one type of prayer. And he prays us, Lord, not that I ask you to shield me from trials and tribulations, no, but to give you the willpower and the courage to withstand them when they come. And the choice has always been amen, amen, amen. This is the right time for prayers in Nigeria. But beyond prayers, we need sincerity, we need action, we need reactions, we need sincerity. But as it is today, there is a linear relationship between today, tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow.
Yesterday.
There is a linear relationship between democracy today, the coming election, and post-election. If what we are seeing now is the brand of democracy that will be enthroned in 2023, if the behavior of the electorate is what we are seeing now is going to be manifested in 2023, if the behavior of the political class is going to be the same in 2023, if the behavior of the National Assembly and the senators and the governors is going to be the same, God save democracy, God save Nigeria, and God save the world.
So till there's a change, then you have your fears. Change in attitude?
I have my fears. If there is none.
And I'm hopeful that change will come. What will spoil it is what I don't know.
I hope it will come. I pray it will come.
Maybe some form of divine intervention.
There has been divine intervention. We have been surviving by divine intervention. Otherwise, if any smaller country in Africa were to have gone through what Nigeria is going now, or what it has gone through now, look at the world map, that country will disappear even on the world map. So Nigeria has been surviving by purely divine intervention. There are more divisive forces wishing Nigeria bad, wishing Nigeria disintegration. But God, who made Nigeria up in the manner he made it up, different tribes, more than 230 ethnic groups, different religious influences, different classes, God has a purpose for that. In Islam, God says, I created the entire world, human beings, in their own form, in their own shapes, in their own color, belonging to different creeds, the entire world, so that they understand each other. God knew there will be conflict in the economy, in the polity, everywhere. But he said, understanding each other, where you come from, your limitations, will go a long way in defining who you are.
Let's end it here. Madi Shehu is a businessman. He sits on top of the dialogue group. He's a non-civil rights activist who has put so much effort in improving governance process and civil relations in Nigeria.
Thank you so much for your patience to watch from the beginning to the end. I hope you have learned something from the video you have just watched. The video you have just watched is to bring information to your doorstep and for educational purpose. It is not to demonize anybody. Let us watch continuously and see who can be able to make a sense out of every nonsense we are seeing. We must continue. We move. It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter what they say. They will kill us. We will kill them. At the end of the day, Biafra is here. Thank you for watching. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please kindly subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell so that you're notified each time I upload a video. You will be among the first to receive it. Thank you and remain blessed. Bye-bye. See you again.